Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are so excited to be here again. Every week, we love bringing these over. And what's up, Ryan?
What's up, Haley?
Yeah.
We are coming off of a two-part series. I don't know if it's a series or just a two-part system.
Yeah,
right?
we didn't want to overwhelm everybody with a whole video with 14 different systems in it.
I know.
So we broke it up. If you guys have followed the channel or know, we did part 2 systems last Friday. But why do we do these systems, Ryan? Why do we have the numbers, and why do we follow such a systematic plan?
Well, we are huge proponents of just falling in love with the process, checking the box, doing the activities, but you're right. What's the big why? What's the payoff? Where do we get our fulfillment? And it's that feeling. It's that feeling when you look across the table and something clicks behind the eyes of a newer agent and they start to get it. Or when somebody calls and they say, what you guys told me, it really works. I got a deal out of it. Or, oh my gosh, that negotiation tactic got me into escrow. I can't believe it. Stuff really works.
As we're talking about this right now, I'm literally thinking, we forget that feeling so often because we're on to the next thing so quickly. But we were just talking about the email that we got from our client telling how instrumental we were in this closing of his first deal. And that feeling, last night, I was like, oh. And then we had another agent close a deal that he's been working on for months, and it's been terrible between the sellers. And we closed that yesterday. He was like, Haley, this was so much because of you guys. You have really helped me through the emotional time through this transaction.
Right.
And those are the feelings when we hear that, it makes us emotional. I think because we really care about our clients and we care about their success. And
we ride that roller coaster with them.
And we go through it with them, and we only get our successes through our clients when they win. So, thinking about that feeling, when we get that call of I think about going back to some of our clients who we've sat in front of and they've talked about getting a job, and they're like, I need to get a job. I need more structure. I need this. And we're like, you got a job. Yeah. This is your job.
Pour into this one.
We got to work it. This is how we're going to work it. And I think of one of our girls who came to us in tears being like, and then she got a $7 million listing in 3 weeks just because she started doing activities, putting her stuff in the running. And she called us and was like, thank you. You guys really, really helped me.
That was a good day.
Those feelings, I remember that. And it's that's why we do this, is
Absolutely.
For those kind of feelings of man, we really helped someone through this.
It's so fulfilling, and it's better than any commission. It's better than any big victory, is when you can experience a win through another person that you've kind of gone on that emotional roller coaster. You've been down here with them, and then you get to reach up here with them, and you're both looking at each other this is awesome.
We did this.
And we talk a lot in our coaching that we do with other reps about 2 pivots. We talk a lot about mindset and getting out of the scarcity mentality, getting out of that negativity bias that we all have with the amygdala and all the science behind that into positivity, inviting gratitude, inviting abundance, and all that. The other pivot, I think, is getting out of ourselves and getting into helping the customer, right? So it's, of course we have our needs. We wake up with our basic needs. We have certain metrics.
We got bills to pay. We got things to do.
All the things, right? But when you can really get out of self and into what is the agent going through right now? What is confounding them? What are the obstacles and the adversities that are confronting the realtor in San Diego in today's market? And then apply solutions and apply strategies to help them through that. And then you get the win. That happiness channels all the way back to the effort that you put in the beginning of what if we look at this in the whole strategy session of, what are we doing with our sphere? What are we doing to promote open houses? What are we doing to tell the story of the sold or whatever it is, right? And then it works. And then that is the moment where that feeling, if we can envision that feeling, it'll get me through all the calls, all the DMs, all the happy hours, all the things where you're just I can't today. I'm done weeking.
I'm done weeking. It's Monday. I'm done weeking. I'm done. No, but I totally agree. And we don't have our numbers because we need to check the box and get it done. And yes, that's part of the game. But we have that because I know when I make my calls and I hit my numbers and I'm like, whew, I got it done today. Makes me feel so much. It makes me feel like I did something through my day. Whether we got meetings or we got told to F off or however the calls go, I did my main job I needed to get done today. And that's a win, when we can accomplish that. And going back to why we do it and the feelings, I feel like we put so much on the scoreboard, right? Like all of our emotions and everything are tied to the scoreboard of how many deals we get, how much commission is there. But really, when we think about it, it should be like, what is going to be the feeling when I hit those? Like for me, you know, it's like buying a home and these kinds of things. It's like, I imagine myself, not all the struggle of like trying to get there, but it's like, what am I going to feel like when I finally own my own home? And like those kinds of feelings.
You lay on the couch and it's yours.
and it's mine. Like this is, so it's like, that's what we have to try to have, that little mind shift of like, yes, the goals, and that is great to have in mind, but it's really about what's the feeling, because that's going to drive us. The feeling of it is going to drive us, because people forget what you say, but they don't forget how you make them feel.
That's absolutely right.
And it's like same for us. Like we could forget all the minutia of like making sure the emails go down and this, but we won't forget the feeling of being where we're at or hitting the high heights together, because we've gone through some low shitty times together.
Oh my gosh, pandemics.
We've had some really low times, but we've also had some really high times, and we always talk about it like we got to remember the good times, we got to stay to the focus, we got to remember what our goals are for those feelings of like where we've had success together.
Absolutely. You know, and I think about when we're so goal oriented, and you got to keep your goal in mind. You got to know where you're going, right? Otherwise the GPS and the universe doesn't know where to take you. So you got to set those in stone, but then identify, you know, that you can't be so driven by the goal that it's all consuming, and it becomes a thing that prevents you from getting the goal. Like the coach on Mel Robbins talked about, what we resist persists. Right? And so when you let go...
Great book. We haven't started reading it yet, but we're about to. I got it. We're busting it out.
It's, you know, and he talks about, look, I mean, because you're so like tunnel vision, laser-like focus on just the actual achievement that you forget the feeling on the other side of it, the victory, right? And when you do it in a group, when we overcome a piece of adversity together, there's oxytocin, there's bonding, there's relief. There's relief from just the stress and strain of trying to achieve this goal. And then you can power through the daily monotony of what's going to get you there. It's like having the big reason why. Like, why am I doing this? Buy a house, family, provide for my children, well-being, help others, right? Leave a legacy, all those things that drive people. When I think of leaving a legacy for my children and being able to have them meet their needs, it will drive me through any, you know, what is it? Like when the why is in clear, the how becomes clear. Right? When the why is understood, the how it becomes apparent.
It's something like that.
Something like that.
When the why is known, the how becomes clear, or something how.
There's a better phrase. Yes, you know what I'm saying?
There's a phrase out there that
so attach that. It's like being grateful for what you don't have yet, but like as if you had it already, and then you're operating on that frequency of that abundance mentality, where the universe can pop that into your life because you're ready to receive it. It's like you're already acting as if in a grateful kind of way, and understanding the feeling and resonating with that feeling of having already done it, then it happens to show up in your life. It's weird.
Well, you know, I like using the analogy just because we both played sports growing up. We both work out. We both, you know, we don't go to the gym one day and it's like, oh, we feel great. Like, yeah, we have all the endorphins, all the oxytocin after working out, and you do feel really good. But 3 months down the line after working out consistently, you look at yourself and you're like, ooh, I see some changes. Like, I look good. And it's that feeling like, no, I hate working out. Like, I do not like going to the gym when it's cold in the morning and being the first thing. But after a while of doing it for so long, it's more about the feeling of like how I feel afterwards, or how I feel when I've done it for so long, and the consistency actually shows results.
Confidence from small kept promises to yourself, and routine, day over day in, day out. The days you didn't want to, the days you were stoked to do, all those days collectively make you feel like that's part of who I am, you know? Yeah,
so it's like the feeling that we get at the end. Nobody likes doing hard shit. Like, let's be real. And life is hard. Like, life is full of hard things. Nobody likes doing them, but it's how can we push past that and utilize the feeling of what it will feel like to be on the other side of it. So I go on to think, like, when we're in the middle of making calls or something really difficult that we don't have to do, we have to imagine the feeling of like, man, I could make one call and this could change our trajectory on the year or the business or something like that. And having that feeling of when, as an agent or somebody making calls, like we're here and changing lives and helping people get more commissions and more homes and all of these things. And when you're helping other people out there, that's some of their biggest investments and biggest purchases they're going to make. So I would hold on to that feeling of you being a badass and helping somebody with one of the biggest purchases of their life. Like, that should be the feeling of that. You want more of that. So that's why you do all the work and you make all the calls and you do all the door knocking, because that feeling of helping someone having their dream come true.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I think of the cliches, like first the challenge, then the change. First the breakdown, then the breakthrough, right? And so the work always comes first.
Yeah.
And, you know, even in nature, you have so many examples. You tear down the muscle, why? So you can build back up stronger.
The lobster. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, the caterpillar has to be
yeah.
like liquefied before it can be a butterfly. And you know, all that crawling, it was like an Olympic-sized crawler at one point, the worm, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't help it when it goes to fly, right?
No.
So you have to change some of your skill sets. You have to, and in this market, we find ourselves with some challenges. We've got some real challenges we're facing, pipeline issues, financing issues, and so that challenge is breaking some people down, breaking us down, making us face ourselves and our resilience. And I think that when you attach yourself to that feeling of how it feels when you come through for another, or when you help find victory with another person, that's what's going to sustain you in the lower times when it's hard. And it's hard. You know, there's a lot of challenges in the real estate space right now.
Well, what do you always say? If you're having problems in your life, go help somebody else with their problem, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you'll realize your problem is very, very small.
Yeah.
Or if you're having a shit day, go try to help somebody else, and that will turn your shit day around, or something like that. You always
if you're
say
discouraged, encourage another.
somebody. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you yourself will be encouraged.
And it's the feeling. It's all about the feeling, because you would feel better after. So that's why we talk about doing systems and all of these things. It's because, yes, we have to have it for our business. We have to have the numbers. We have to hit our daily metrics. But why do we do it? Because we're out there helping people, and like, especially in the real estate market in San Diego, if we can help our clients get 2, 3, 4 extra deals by ideas and strategies that we can help them implement.
It's life-changing money.
Life-changing. And that for us, we're like, let's get more of it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And like, it's not about us. It's about how can we help them get more of it, because we get our wins through our clients.
Absolutely.
And so if we can have that mind shift of how can we have that feeling of what it feels like to help the first time home buyer, to help the family that was going through a divorce and you help them onto the next chapter of their life, or somebody that was, you know, going through a really hardship like bankruptcy or something like that, and you helped them get rid of their home and on to the newest chapter and put that behind them. What's that feeling feel like? Like you've helped them through some really dark days.
It's like diminishes what in the morning you woke up and that was the biggest thing in the world. And now it's like, what was I even tripping on? I helped this person overcome this massive thing. I got princess
like that
problems.
happens all the time.
I got gold-plated problems, right?
All the time. I'm like, and I was mad about that.
What was I tripping on again?
Exactly.
Well, that perspective comes when we get out of self. The pivot from negative to positive is huge. The pivot from self to others. And I mean, we're all egocentric. We all wake up hungry, horny, lonely, tired every single morning. But we can get out of that egocentric, driven mentality into how am I going to help other people get to where they're going? Because if I get to them to where they're going, I get to where I'm going. Right? If I help enough people go and get what they need, my needs will be fulfilled in the process.
Well, what's the saying? Like, we can go far, or like we can only go so far alone, but together we can go so much further.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I feel like that's so true for any aspect. Like, if real estate, any sales, any business, or anything you're doing, when you have somebody you can bounce ideas off, and you have somebody there to support, and the faster you ask for help, the faster you get to where you're going. And that feeling of finally having the business up and running, or finally doing it, that's where it's like, I put in all that work and look at where it got me.
And that will fuel the next thing, you know, the next metric, the next day, the next struggling through the valley.
I think it's just so hard for us as humans because we forget that so quickly.
I know.
Like, you know,
by next half hour.
Next half hour, something else happens, and we forget so quickly about those things. So we have to take that time to remind ourselves, like, when we are in the barrel, or when shit is going sideways, or like you really don't want to do something and we know we should probably do it, it's important to have that switch of like, okay, what am I going to feel on the other side of this?
Yeah,
what
and
am
have
I gonna
your
feel at the end of
have some
this?
mindset accountability, people, so you can do reality testing.
Yeah.
Because in here, it's a Quentin Tarantino scene of like everybody's coming for me, my life is over, and it's like slippery slope like that. So I need to be like, Haley, I'm having a day, and here's what I'm thinking, and you're like, none of that is happening. You're fine.
None of that is true.
Like, you have a job, you have a family, you have a car that starts, you got food in the fridge, etc. And that's why I think what you said, you know, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
And that's when your crew, your 5 people you hang out with most, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out, that you got to be selective so that you can go and bounce and do some reality testing and get some real answers back and say, listen, man, you're in a funk. I get it. Let's go help some other people. Let's go stand under the sky and get perspective on get leverage on our mental issues, because it's usually perceived fear or perceived issues, not real.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I love what Rob Dial says. He says, is this going to kill me? No. Is this real? Well, not really. It's like, I'm worried about next Tuesday. Well, let's just do what's real right now and get into action.
And do that.
You know, and with awareness and acceptance and action, you can get through most troubled situations, because a lot of it is just up here.
Well, I love what you always say. So, like, when I call Ryan for, like, not necessarily advice. I'm a vocal processor. I just need to get out. He goes, so am I listening, or do you need advice right now? Like,
what role am I playing?
Most of the time it's just listen. Just listen. Right, listen. Get it?
I told you she was crazy. Oh, man. Impossible.
Impossible. That can't be right. That's not true. Not true. But it's so funny because it's so true. Sometimes we just need that person, the accountability person for the mindset to bounce things off of, to really check yourself of like, hey, this is not reality right now. What your thoughts are. Like, let's bring it in. Let's hone it in. What can we control? Our actions, our activities, our attitude, right? Absolutely. Like what we can control. And like with all the other stuff going on in the world right now, we can really only control a few things, like what we're paying attention to, our activities, and our like mindset and our attitude.
Exactly.
And like, you know, we were just talking and before doing this, and somebody was bringing up the Elon and Trump thing, and I'm like, what? I have no control over that. Yeah. I'm just gonna focus on today and what I can control, and we can't control anything that's happening up there. So I'm just going to do what I can do today for myself. Right. And help other people feel that way too.
And we can report that people and teams and that are doing the work are finding tons of deals. Tons. We have pipeline reviews with clients. We have masterminds with clients. And the work is still working.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing outreach and you're telling stories of your deals and you're nurturing clients that refer you and you're talking to other businesses that have a chance to refer you, all that is happening.
Yeah.
And so when we paralyze with fear in our head, largely, right? I mean, what would Tom Petty's great quote, like 90% of the things I worry about never happen anyways, right?
And then the 2% of things that I do happen, it's like way less.
Never to the extreme.
Never what I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. So like, how about, okay, you kick the dirt, cry, curse the sky for 2 minutes, and then get back to work. Because I get it. Like, hey, this shit happens, right? To all of us. So take a beat, go curse the sky, come back, get back to work. And usually the action reveals the solution and more opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, and so we find ourselves in peaks and valleys in sales in general, in real estate for sure. The one thing I know is that it'll be different in like 3 months, in 6 months.
Next year.
I mean, we joke all the time, hey, good market, bad market, we still have to show up and do the calls, do the prelims, do the reviews, all of it. So, you know, we want to encourage you that on the other side of action is an opportunity. So take the actions, whatever that looks like, you know, because I just know that inertia and being static is not going to bring anything new. Only action, new behaviors bring new results. Consistent behaviors bring consistent results. The only thing that can really kill you is inertia, not doing anything.
Not doing anything and being frozen. Like, what was it for a while? I think it was like during COVID, Tom would say it's like fight, flight, or freeze, and most of us are frozen right now.
Exactly.
And so lean into the feeling of like what it feels like to be a badass, to really close the deals, to get people where they want to go, and lean into that, and then everything else the little work that you talk about, like the calls and the door, all of that is just something part of what you do to get to the feeling of helping somebody.
It'll drag you through it, won't it?
Yep, totally. So I don't know how we got all off on that topic today, but
we must be feeling inspired.
We were feeling inspired and wanted to, you know, we were a little down. So how do we help each other? Is we inspire somebody else, and now we're like ready to go.
I know, I'm pretty pumped. It works. This stuff works, guys.
Well, I'm Haley.
And I'm Ryan. Until next time.